Springfield, Ohio, drafting a petition to recall the entire city commission as that small community deals with a massive influx of Haitian migrants.
Chanley Painter is here with all the details. Hi, Chanley.
Hey, Todd and Carly. So locals are pointing to the migrant surge as the reason for a housing crisis and unsafe roads in Springfield. Now, this petition obtained by Blaze Media is seeking to recall the mayor, assistant mayor, and local commissioner, saying this, quote, the current members of the commission have breached their public responsibilities. The commission has created an untenable housing crisis by purposefully abandoning prior practices for consistent code enforcement, and the commission has failed to maintain an adequate police department. But now the Ohio governor is stepping in while blaming the federal government for not doing its part to help with the increased strain on small communities.
Troopers and patrol cars into Springfield to help the local Springfield Police Department. I am committing today a minimum, and I've instructed Dr. Vanderhoff this, a minimum of $2.5 million over the next 2 years to deal with the surge that we are seeing. The federal government does not have a plan to give any support to the communities impacted by the surge, and we have absolutely no indication that a plan is coming in the future.
At least 15,000 Haitian migrants or immigrants have arrived in the town of just about 58,000 people over the last 4 years alone. Under the federal Temporary Protective Status Program, it's a program that helps certain migrants flee their violent, unstable countries. And while first approved for Haitians in 2010 after a major earthquake there, the Biden-Harris administration extended and redesignated that program, allowing additional Haitians already in the country to become eligible, hence the surge over the last few years,
Isn't
guys.
it funny how just a couple of days ago they said that these problems didn't exist and that this was just a big conspiracy theory? Now the governor is announcing that he's sending 2,500 troopers to Springfield, Ohio to help with a conspiracy, to help with a problem that they just claimed didn't exist. Now he's being forced to spend millions of dollars to try to help a problem that they said was a conspiracy theory. 2 days ago, they said it didn't exist. And now the finger pointing is starting. The federal government is blaming the local governments. And as you can see, the governor is blaming the federal government. And they're pointing fingers and blaming each other for a problem that they're both still trying to say doesn't exist, while they're scrambling trying to find a solution, or not really a solution. They're trying to make it to where where things die down for a little bit, because right now the heat is on. The mainstream media, certain politicians, they've all been exposed as complete liars, because the problems that they said weren't happening in Springfield, Ohio, are very real problems that are happening. And we have plenty of evidence of that, and we have more coming out every single day. But even though I hate what's going on in Springfield, Ohio, I also love stories like this one, because it gives me an opportunity to expose the mainstream media for the liars that they are. And it also gives me an opportunity to prove my naysayers wrong. Because right now, there's a lot of people who simply refuse to believe the evidence and the information that is being laid out in front of their face. Because they're choosing to believe the mainstream media, because we know why. We don't even have to get into why. We know why they're siding with the mainstream media on this one. But you see, this problem, it's widespread, okay? You know, the problem with these illegal immigrants and sometimes legal immigrants flooding into these communities, the problems with the animals that people think are fake, it's real. You know, the other day I reported on the fact that there are animal sacrifices happening down in Tybee Island, Georgia, of all places. And it's funny because I had a naysayer in my comment section during one of those videos. They claimed that they lived on Tybee, right? They claimed that they lived and worked on Tybee and that there was no animal sacrifices happening. They claimed it was all fake news. Well, guess what the Tybee police had to say about the situation?
The Island Police Department tells me these kinds of ritual sacrifices have been happening on the island for years now. In fact, so far in 21, they say there have already been 3 incidents.
I think the first incident this year may have been in January, then there was another one in June, I believe.
On Thursday, Tybee Island Police responded to the beach near 8th Street after they say someone found roosters with their heads cut off, surrounded by cups of blood.
That may be a new one for me.
Tybee Island Police say while the cups of blood were unusual, the sacrifice was not.
This is actually a fairly common occurrence for us.
Police say for years, various kinds of birds, even fish, have been.
You see, what I have to deal with when I make these videos is sometimes I'm making videos about other places, of course, in America, and people living in these places don't even realize that some of these problems are happening in their backyard. Like I said, the woman who lives and works on Tybee Island claims none of this stuff was happening. She never heard of it. The police says it's pretty common. It happens all the time. So this is the type of stuff I'm up against when reporting on these stories, because the mainstream media and even local medias, they're not doing their job. They're hiding a lot of this stuff from the public. They're not reporting on a lot of this stuff. And often when they do report on these things, they blatantly lie. Just how they blatantly lied about Haitian immigrants not eating the ducks and the geese and the gooses and what have you in Springfield, Ohio. We now know for a fact they have. And I want you all to listen to someone from Springfield, Ohio, who has seen this happen with her own eyes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more.
Okay, Springfield, Ohio resident here for 30 years. Okay, been here my entire life. And since we are trending right now all over social media and people are wanting answers from the residents, I figured I would chime in. Might be an unpopular opinion that people want to hear. Yes, we have a Haitian Creole immigration issue. In the last couple of years, they have dropped off 20 to 30,000 immigrants. The last year to 6 months has been insane. They are dropping them off by the busload. When I say busload, I mean the Greyhound busload full. They are taking them to the gas stations and dropping them off by the busload. But the big thing that I wanted to address, have I personally seen any videos or public reports of the Haitian Creole community stealing cats and dogs and eating them? No. The video that is going viral of the woman who killed and ate the cat is not from Springfield. Do I know for a fact, and have I seen with my own eyes, okay, a Haitian Creole immigrant killing ducks? Yes. They are killing ducks at our reservoir and at our parks. They are chopping their heads off and they are cooking them up. They are also gutting animals up at the reservoir and roasting them, goats, pigs, that kind of thing, which, you know, obviously isn't illegal, but the way that they're doing it and leaving things is just ridiculous. They have completely trashed our reservoir. I mean, overloaded with trash. It's really sad. There's 20 to 30 tents out there that they are sleeping in, and again, just completely trashed. The driving is a huge issue. There's probably 4 to 5 plus accidents a day of the Haitian Creole immigrants solely. They're running into any and everything. I mean that. Trash cans, poles, libraries, garages, houses, flipping cars in the middle of the street, going down the street the wrong way, going down one way is the wrong way. It's really bad. Not to mention, yes, they are here and they are getting a lot of money for being here. They are given money for their dependents. They are given money for food, housing, everything that you would think of. Springfield is a small town of 50 to 60,000, and now almost half of that is a Haitian Creole population. We are considered a sanctuary city. So, yes, there is a problem. Politically, I'm not getting into it. But yes, these things are happening. I know that on the Democratic side, it's all these things aren't happening. Yes, these things are happening, and yes, there are issues. But no, I have not physically seen or seen any proof of them killing cats and dogs and eating them. But they are definitely doing it to the birds and the ducks. Hope that answers questions. Oh, I was gonna end the video, but my biggest pet peeve is, like, I'm a big thrifter, and when I'm at the thrift store or any store in general, like, they will literally be on top of you, like, literally on top of you, touching your stuff. I don't know if I've already said this or not, but yeah, I don't know. Not a racist thing at all, and I do feel for them because the things that they're doing were okay in their country, and they were picked up and dropped off here, but it is an issue, and the things that you're hearing Springfield residents speak about is 100% true. And just because it's not documented with PD doesn't mean it's not happening. Like, just be for real. Also, Anthony Harris for mayor.
And the scariest part is, folks, in many of these cases, you see, these Haitian immigrants, they're given food stamps out the wazoo, all right? Thousands of dollars in food stamps. So they can go down to the local supermarket and buy some chicken or buy whatever. But the scary reality of this is they are going after live animals, usually for a reason. It's not just to eat them because they're poor. They're doing this because they're sacrificing them, because many of them practice certain religions where they sacrifice animals. So a lot of the animals that are going missing, the ducks, the gooses, and the geeses, the cats and the dogs, they're not popping up and going missing. They're not being killed by these immigrants necessarily to be eaten. And a lot of occasions, they're being sacrificed to whatever gods and voodoo, Santa, whatever. I don't get into all that stuff that these folks believe in, okay? But if you go research it, you know, you'll come to realize that this is what they do. And they're doing it in Springfield, Ohio, just like they're doing it in Tybee Island, Georgia, just like they're doing it where you live, and you probably don't know about it because the police and the media aren't going to tell you about it because they're getting paid to slip in these people underneath your nose, okay? Everyone in your city is probably getting paid as we speak to silently bring in some of these people from these random countries from God knows where. They're dropping them off at your local Walmarts, your gas stations, wherever. That's how this is happening. And if you think it's not happening where you live, then maybe you're not paying attention closely enough. Because from the research I've done, Springfield, Ohio is not the only problem. You see, Springfield, it's like they dropped so many of them off at once. That's why you just notice the problem all at once. But slowly and surely, but silently, they're infiltrating all of our communities in this same way. But overall, I don't want to be doom and gloom about it, but I don't think that we're really going to get out of this. I don't see things getting better because, unfortunately for all of us, we're surrounded by a lot of idiots. Half the country, if not more, still believe that this is all fake. They believe what they heard on ABC instead of believing everyone who's living through this nightmare. And they're not going to believe this nightmare is true until they're caught in the nightmare. And by the time you're caught in the nightmare, it's too late. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll be talking to you all very soon in the next one.